Mike, you got this on backwards.
My bad, my bad, my bad.
Hi guys, welcome to episode
16
of Roll with the Fox, antivirus edition. Guys, there's a big storm brewing outside. It's like pouring rain and thunderstorms. Spring is here. What we're going to do today is do some guard passing and into attack. So it's going to be a little free flowing. I don't know if you saw the start. So if I occasionally blank out, the reason is when I'm looking at Mike's hoodie, I may need to have you take it off, Mike. There's a lot of stuff going on his hoodie.
It's stylish.
My brain is just can't help but look at it and try to make sense of it, and it's not happening. I know this is semi-joke, Mike, but I'm serious. You have to take it off.
I roll with my
hopefully
sleeves.
I'll engage with Enrique. So, guys, a couple of things. One thing is yesterday we did about extra 20 minutes on talking about strategies and philosophies on training and so forth. What belts are most difficult. And apparently a lot of people liked it, so we're going to try to incorporate that as well. So please, when you ask questions, guys, start asking already. It can be on the techniques or stuff where you're doing today, or it could be on that stuff as well. Like I said, guys, please, I'm getting a lot of very nice private messages, and I truly appreciate it. Mike is helping me collect all the messages from all the different media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. But if you put your questions or your comments underneath the live session, like I said, I may not be able to answer all of them, but I will read all of them for sure. From the other sources, it will eventually get to me by maybe 3 weeks later.
Everybody's asking to see the hoodie now.
Huh?
Everybody's asking to see the hoodie now.
The hoodie. Guys, look at the very beginning. All right, so we're going to pause. Mike is going to walk in the front. 6 feet, Mike, 6 feet. So, do you understand what I'm talking about now? All right, so now you know. I know you. All right, guys, let's talk about, we've been working on the top for the last 3 days. So what we're going to talk about is some guard passing, and then what do we do after we pass the guard? If you've watched any more than 2 or 3 episodes, you know that I'm not a big fan of just holding on and collecting my points and stalling. I'm going for the submission. So when you pass in guard, and it's the same thing with defending guard. A lot of people, when they defend guard, they have a tendency, or say if somebody in their guard, it's just one-dimensional. They just want to kind of bring the guy forward, just bring him forward. All right? Guys, think 3-dimensional, okay? So in defending my guard, I'm thinking, so I have people who just try to do this, bring him in the guard and keep him. All right? That's one dimension. But don't forget, I can go forward. So we're talking backwards and forwards, okay? We're talking side to side, all right? On your knees, please. To my right, to my left, okay? And up and down. So don't just kind of lay here and try. So, I mean, all right? So that's sort of the 3-dimensional aspect of having him in my guard. Now, in guard passing, it's the same thing. All right? So, you know, I can go backwards, although I don't like to do that. The only time is, so, you know, if he gets good grips. As soon as I go backwards, I'm going forward, guys. All right? I'm not a big fan of backing up. At some point, you got to engage. All right? One of the most underrated things is going left, going right. Going left, going right. So the point is, when you're going left and right, at some point, he's going to get tired. He should get more tired than you. Although Enrique might be in better shape than I am, so he has better wind. But you know, if you have a guy with roughly equal athleticism, equal sort of capabilities, gravity's impacting him harder than it is you. So going left to right at some point is going to start to slow him down. All right? So we got forward and backwards, left to right. We also got up and down. You may have your go-to pass. For me, it tends to be an econ pass. This is my favorite. This is how I usually pass people. But every once in a while, you have to sort of do a tighter pass, whether it's double under, all right? Whether it's just pinning the guy's legs and now working some tighter passing. So the best sort of strategy against a higher level guy is try to mix in a little bit of those approaches, the 3 different dimensions, to get him to stumble a bit. All right, fall half a step behind. And then once he does, we're cutting through. So let's go over a couple of my favorite guard passes. So knee cut pass for me is one of the favorites. So why don't you put your head over there? All right. So guys, a lot of times, sometimes it's a tall order to go around. You know, sometimes you can do it, but Enrique right now has a good frame, and as I'm trying to cut through, he's easily regaining guard. All right. So I like to cut my job in half. So I try to get in and get in tight. Now, I don't want to be too far out where you can hook outside. All right. You want to do that? Come on up. So if the guy is trying to sit up, guys, you can threaten his neck. You can do guillotine. We've talked about that in the previous episodes. So as I step in, guys, I want to step in tight, and I want to go to his hip. I don't want to go too high. You know what happens here, right? If you've been watching, you know, at least 10, 12 episodes, you know what happens here. All right? So I want to go by his hip. Look how tight my elbow is. So as I'm cutting through, guys, there is no room. Now, this is where a lot of people get trapped. They kind of keep the foot. Initially, I keep it flexed to pin his leg down, but at some point, once I'm ready to move, I unflex it so I can actually move forward. And right now, guys, I have 2 needed submissions. Baseball back choke or that oddball arm lock we've been working on. I forget what episode. So let's look at that pass again. Episode 2. One of the things when you pass somebody's guard is, so again, Enrique is swimming, you know, guys sometimes pummel their legs. I just tried to get a little bit of control, and now I'm starting the pass. Guys, make sure you're not crushing your training partner's family jewels. That is not the point of this guard pass. You want to go somewhere between his hip and his knee. All right? Now, as I'm cutting through, it depends what he's doing. Right now, Enrique's turning to me. So when he's turning to me like this, I need to put him back. So I don't want to, if he's turned so far, yeah, this is far enough. Don't make me guillotine. I will do that coming up soon. But when he's here, guys, if I don't have positional control yet. So even though technically I pass his guard, I do not have positional control. If this is the case, I will drive him back down and flatten him out. Now I can attack. Okay? So in tournaments, if you pass somebody's guard, it's usually 3 points. Depends on the rule set and so forth, but usually 3 points. So if you're a competitor, you have a dilemma. You have to figure out, like, okay, do I control him for 3 seconds, get my points, or is he giving me a quick and easy submission? Me personally, if I'm getting a quick and easy submission, I'll take it. Because usually, if it goes awry, if he defends it, I'm very confident to put him back down. All right, so I'm gonna try to control. Keep your elbow tight. pin his leg, and I'm sliding through. If he's like this, I will drive him back down. But if he was caught unaware, flat, I'm going straight into submission. So I know, guys, it's allergy season here. So, if he's flat, I will attack immediately. If I need to control him first off the guard pass, I will control him first and then attack. Okay? So let's look at it from the other side. Guys, again, I encourage you to, for me, my go-to guard pass is knee cut to my left. I do practice my knee cut pass to my right as well. Like I said, you gotta hone at three-dimensional game. You're gonna have one or two dimensions that are probably the strongest for you, but you can't just sort of ignore them, because otherwise, if you just keep going the same way, unless you're like so great at it, chances are you will fail. So a lot of times, my weaker dimensions are used to set up my stronger dimensional pass. So what do I mean by that? So right now, this is one dimension. We're still going across one plane left to right. But, so if I'm doing this, Enriquez is, now I'm going to switch into a tighter guard pass. Because this is my weaker side, but usually people have, defensively also on Enriquez's side, they also have a weaker side, and it's usually their left side. Because most people will pass to their left, i.e. to his right. So most people will have a better guard pass to their left, and most people have better guard pass defenses on their right. So it's good to develop the other side, but notice that, you know, my knee cut wasn't as good, so I had to switch. So instead, I switched from, you know, a quick knee cut pass, forward, backwards, into sort of lower, you know, up and down plane, number one, and tighter guard pass. As soon as I'm here, guys, I'm looking to control his arm to prevent him from getting his grips. Now I'm looking to put my head on his shoulder. This is where I'm not vulnerable to a whole lot. And now I'm going to start to move through. As soon as I'm here, guys, I don't necessarily disengage my hand. I don't need this anymore. And now I'm going to flatten him out and put him in a world of hurt. I actually keep my left hand there on purpose because this misaligns him, and he really does not have anything. There's sort of a very oddball submission when the guy leaves his hand inside your legs, but this is not happening in this. Go ahead. You don't have squat. Now I've positionally dominated him, and I can start to attack submissions. Do we have any questions on this?
Yes, on Facebook, Jean-Christophe Blanchard asks, what do you do if Enrique does the knee shield during your cut?
I just did it. I just did it on my left side. So it's a good question. I was hoping that there was not going to be more questions on Mike's hoodie. So I start out, I'm cutting, he started, so I tried to cut through, so I will reposition my hands and start, so try to crush him. Again, pin his arm. But I can't just pin his arm over here. He's going to be up, yeah. So I need to kind of flatten him out. Do you remember there was an episode we talked about using your head for thinking as well as for jiu-jitsu? All right? So try to use it for both purposes, thinking and jiu-jitsu. Now I start to drive in and flatten him out. All right, so let's look at it again. So I'm going to try to do a knee cut pass. Oh, I made it. I'm leaning back towards his hips, but I'm not leaning like this, guys. This is one of those things that when people knee cut pass, they want to kind of look at their prey to admire the work they've done. Look at this, I passed the guard. Except it makes you vulnerable. So anytime I sit out on a guard pass, is immediately I turn back square to him. Okay? So when you use a knee cut pass or any guard pass that makes you sit out, don't appreciate your work. You'll have time to appreciate it after you submit it. All right? Don't sit out. You can sit out, but as soon as you do, isolate the arms, isolate the head, make sure you control especially the upper body, the shoulders, and now you go into submission. All right? So, say for example, I'm having a hard time cutting through to my left. So I'll switch to my right. I got this. So Enrique knee shields me. So guys, I will swim. He's got a good frame. And there's going to be some battle because as I'm swimming, so at some point I wanted this grip, but I had to get this one because it was just quick. I just need to have this temporarily. I'm going to go under his head. My hips go low. If I need to sit out again, I sit out just to isolate, and then I square up right away. All right? People have a tendency sometimes to sit out, say like, "Well, see what I've done to you?" And the problem with that is, if you're sitting out, even if you're sitting out wide, yeah, you think you have base, you don't. Here you have better base, but it's still not that good. So if you sit out, here, yeah, it's just a matter of time before he escapes. All right, he's going to scramble. Yes.
So we have a few things. On Instagram, Hollywood says morning from Utah.
Hi.
On YouTube, Yancy Capable says, can you please show the no-gi baseball bat choke in detail?
We can. Guys, this is an interesting story. When I do the baseball bat choke, it's very similar gi or no gi. This is the gi, this is no gi, all right? So the point is, so the grips are slightly different, but the mechanics are very similar. All right? So as I told you before, we usually don't have, my game is not that different with gi or no gi. A lot of times with the gi, it's great to get the grips really tight. Somebody actually asked me, says, "Fox, I don't see you doing a lot of collar chokes with the gi." There's three reasons for it. First one is, a lot of times when I pass somebody's guard, no gi, usually by the time, you pass somebody's guard, especially if they're good, the gi is like a little bit open anyways, because as you're coming through, there's a little bit of a battle. So a lot of times, it's easier to just slide in your hands than it is to go for the grips to make sure that you have just correct. I just know where it is. Second, I'm really good at a bow and arrow choke. I've modified it significantly. My body position is completely different. If somebody asks for it in the next gi session, I will do that. It's dramatically different from, I've never seen anybody do it this way. I'm sure somebody does, but I don't know who it is. And I actually put, when I started playing with it, I put a fairly high level guy out with it. And so I changed it. But when I was doing a traditional bow and arrow choke with the gi, the guy, I had him, and he just put both his hands on his own lapel and just went like this. And I'm pretty sure it hurt me more than it hurt him. So it hurts my fingers, it hurts my wrists, and sometimes it takes too long to set up. That said, my two favorite gi chokes, and I know I'm digressing a little bit, using the collars, the bread cutter. That could be the topic for tomorrow. Hopefully somebody will remember. Bread cutter, baseball bat choke, and modified bow and arrow. So those are my three favorite. But with the bow and arrow, as soon as I pass the guard, if I look at, even if he's wearing gi or no gi, depending where am I in a position to grab the gi? If not, I'll go for the no gi. So, guys, for the no gi, it's you clasp your hands like this, guys. No fingers. We're not doing this. All right. We're not doing this. Okay. Make flippers like like seals or fish. It's basically the bolt cutter grip we use for urigatame. It's a bolt cutter grip we use for a lot of different things. So this is a very strong grip, both defensively and offensively. All right. I could actually tell you, again, if somebody remembers how I started playing with the bolt cutter grip long time ago. I realized how strong it is. So it's a bolt cutter grip, no fingers. All right. So I'm going under his head. All right. And now, guys, I just want to bring you can have your knee on the belly. This is a little bit easier for him to defend. Or knee off the belly. Guys, you want to cause a clean choke. You don't want to adjust. You want to make sure when you do this, your elbow comes down and there is no break in your wrists. No break in your wrists. If you're doing something like this, it's wrong. Okay? If you're doing something like this, it's wrong. All right? It has to be firm. I got a bad wrist, especially my left one is bad. So there's no pain for me right now. I feel no pain. But if my wrist started, I start to cowhand myself. All right, so that's the no-gi baseball back choke. So let's come back to the guard pass one more time, and then I still want to go to a little bit like double under or a knee cut pass going at right. Yes, Mike, you look like you have questions.
Yeah, that's actually the question is on Instagram. Gabby asked, double unders is her favorite pass, but she has a hard time with the timing. What is the best time to go for double under?
Again, it's that multi-dimensional approach. So, say if I'm trying to knee cut, and then the guy starts to his legs, his feet start to drift up. He's trying to stop your knee cut. So that's a good time. So if he's just like here, I wouldn't go for double under. It would just take too long for me to get under. All right. So again, looking at the different dimensions, up and down. All right. So I set it up here. I'm trying to knee cut pass. As he's defending, now it becomes easy. What I'm going to try to do now, guys, is punch my hand through, and I'm driving. All right. I'm blocking his head, and now I'm just using my hips to come through. Now, if this were the gi, I'd immediately go into bread cutter choke. All right, we can talk about that tomorrow. It's one of my favorite chokes. A lot of people do it wrong. Once you pass, guys, if you want to collect your points, get your points. But usually, if I switch into bread cutter choke, so if I'm here, it's going to be very difficult for him to escape. So I can take a crack at a submission as well as getting the points. All right, but personally, if I had a choice, if I feel I have a good setup for submission, I'll go straight for the submission. All right? So, again, I'm trying to knee cut pass. As his legs start to come up, I'm going to go double under. I need to make sure that I start to control his hips with mine. Okay? Being here, yeah, this is not gonna do anything and might potentially get you in danger. Can you put me in danger? My knee goes back in the middle. So, guys, double under, start to control his hips with yours. All right? Now, as there's a battle, go ahead. What do you want to do? I'm going to drop in. Right now, I did not have a submission, so I just drop in for the top of cross side, and now I'll figure out what I'm going to do to him next. Okay? So, again, we're setting up a different dimensional pass, like height. Usually double unders, you're kind of standing up high. So I'm trying to knee cut pass, and here we go. All right? Now, I'm gonna, from here, guys, again, there is no submission that presents itself readily, so I'm using this to control him. I may sit out, I'm trying to isolate his arm. That's not happening. So now I have something. All right? Now, let's look at one of the things that I do not mind is turtling the guy up. So if my pass, this is one of the reasons why my guard pass is, I'm favoring sort of the loose and fast guard pass. Only 5 minutes left, Mike? Wow, time goes fly. Goes fly. Mike, I blame everything on your hoodie today. Time goes fly. All right. All right, so I'm passing, I'm trying to get through, and as I'm cutting wide, Enrique's coming out the back way, even if he gets an underhook. That's no problem. Usually this is when the guy starts to back off. If he backs off, I'm coming back up, and you guys know how this is going to end. So this is, guys, an arm-in guillotine, which I've been forced to, I personally prefer no arm-in guillotine, but I've been forced to use a lot of arm-in guillotine because guys have caught on to my no arm-in guillotine. And I just noticed that the body positioning is dramatically different because he's protecting his carotid with his left shoulder. But it just goes to show you that if I cut too loose and he turtles up in the hopes of coming out and putting me back down, I just sprawl on him and start to control his head. So let's look at it again. So I'm working on a knee cut pass. I cut too wide. And here we go. Now, the question is how he's going to react. But right now, I have him where I want to have him. I can put him away with a variety of different ways. So, but I'm very comfortable knee cut pass. So again, guys, you will have your go-to guard pass, but develop a few others. And if you develop there is sort of guard passes that are ancillary to yours. So it still might be a knee cut pass with some variation, or guard passes that are different dimension, maybe tight pass for up and down, but also a lot of times presents itself when he's defending your bread and butter guard pass. Now you can switch to that. And if he defends that one successfully, you can go back to your bread and butter guard pass. Mike, do we have any questions on this?
On YouTube, Hamid Farah says, hi from Toronto, Canada.
Hi.
And Antonio Sotillo says, hi from Venezuela. This is pure gold, by the way.
Thank you. That's so.
And Anan Loves Jiu-Jitsu was asking about the no-gi baseball bat choke. Is that a blood choke or
Yes.
an air choke?
Guys, generally speaking, there are no air chokes in jiu-jitsu. Generally speaking, if you attack somebody's neck, you're going to get one of two submissions. Usually it's not a cut off of the air supply. What usually happens is you constrict the blood vessels leading to your brain, which is blood choke, and neck strangle, which you really want. And the other one is it's a neck crank, which is painful. And usually if I'm neck cranked, if I'm in full heat of the battle, I will suck up the neck crank. I get pissed off, but I will try to suck it up and then come after him with a vengeance. So anytime you're drilling anything, you aim for a blood choke, because it doesn't matter how tough the guy is, if he's on drugs, you put somebody out, or if they tap because of blood choke, it's done. That's what I'm aiming for. And I'd encourage you, if you start to play around with the baseball bat choke, it's an excellent question, by the way, is make it a blood choke, make it a constriction to the point. So you want to make sure you do it nice and gently when you start playing with this. Guys, if you self-quarantine, do not call your wife and try to apply it on her, all right, because that might lead for you to be violated out of your own quarantine, you know, where she drop kicks you from the balcony. But anyways, or your girlfriend, but when you start playing with this, guys, this stuff is going to be available. It's on YouTube and it's on Facebook, labeled, so it's going to be available when things get back to normal. You're aiming for a blood choke where you're going to be pushing down, okay? So that's what you want to make it so gentle where the guy doesn't feel pain. And if you do it right, you'll feel it when I teach it in my class, and some of the guys like, hey Fox, can you do it to me because I'm feeling pain but I'm not going out. And then it's like, yeah, this is very different. I feel no pain now. I feel no pain, and you're going out. Guys, anytime you drill chokes that are relatively new to you, you want to be gentle to your training partner. One of the points that the monthly masters asked yesterday was sort of some of the important things on how to avoid injuries. And one of the issues that somebody pointed out to me, and it's true, it's very true, I forgot about it, is good training partners. Be a good training partner. When you're gentle to your training partner and it slowly kicks on, okay, the guy's gonna wait, he's comfortable, he knows you're not gonna hurt him, and he's sort of like, okay, I know it works. Then you have confidence that that specific move, the mechanics of that move work well. All right, so let me illustrate the point. So as I'm doing this to Enrique, I'm not applying any pressure right now. He doesn't feel any pain. All right? Now, if you like trying to make up for lack of technique with speed and intensity, do that later when you're fighting somebody, not when you're training, not when you're practicing. If you're doing this, the guy panic taps. He goes, I gotta go to work tomorrow, or I don't want to be looking like this. He taps. Your move might be complete crap, and you will not know because you're just kind of rushing through it. You can rush through things once you get to know them well, and they become second nature, okay? So guys, make sure that when you're practicing, be a good training partner. And guys, that's a very, very important point, especially the BJJ Masters. I don't know what the cutoff point for BJJ Masters is in Australia. I'm assuming it's at least 30. A 30 young pup. So, guys, if you are a guy that's, started training 3 years ago, choose your training partners wisely, especially for those days that you're going easy, okay? But also make sure sometimes you guys don't know the fact that you might be overshooting your own intensity. You think you're a good training partner and the other guy's trying to be nice to you, but you don't recognize the fact that he's trying to be softer, and then you kind of elbowing in the head. So being a good training partner, guys, is a huge good thing in BJJ. I think having good training partners is right up there with having the highest level coaches possible to progress and have fun in jiu-jitsu, but also make sure that you're a good training partner on both sides, reciprocal. I love that word. All right, what else we got, Mike? Are we out of time? I'm sure.
Just about out of time, but on Instagram, Christian Simmerling asked,
hey, Christian.
Close guard pass.
Close guard pass. Oh, okay. Yeah, guys, that's a good one. I'm going to show you my favorite. It works well, but you got to move fairly quickly. Once you... So, guys, in Nogi, I go under his armpits or I go on the neck. By the way, if he starts screaming that he's being choked, it's okay to post on somebody's neck, but it's illegal in some competition. So I just pop up quickly. I pop up, misaligned. Look at the plane of my body. I use my inner thigh to pressure his hips. That will start to unravel his legs. They stay round. Now, once I'm getting here, guys, this is the biggest mistake people make. They look at your training partner. Look what happens to my posture when I look at the ceiling, when I look at him. All right? all he needs to do is square up to me. And now, whatever I created is gone. I have to recreate it. All right? When this starts to go awry, like say Enriquez, you make a mistake. You're looking at him. Hey, what's going on? And he starts to do, just ride that down, guys. Don't try to fight through something you screwed up. Because you're going to get arm locked, you're going to get triangled, you're going to get omoplata. Okay? So, if it gets screwed up, just ride back down, recreate all over again. All right? So I'm popping up. Pressure. Now, I'm going to push down. Elbows tight, guys. Don't push down like this. Elbows tight. You can arch your back. And now, hips forward. I'm still looking at the ceiling. I know exactly where Enrique is. Because I'm sitting on it. I know exactly where he is. Now, I will take the guard pass. All right? So let's look at it one more time at a different angle. So, guys, anytime I get closed up, especially if the guy's bigger than me, I want to stand up and I want to move. Okay? I'm not big or good at low passing. About 15, 20 years ago, one of my friends, very, very good black belt, very well-known black belt. You know, I was out here passing low, and he just pulled me, and I just could not stop this. So anytime, you know, if I'm standing, if he starts dragging me, at least I have a chance to put my knee back in the middle or something. So I'm not a fan of low passing when his guard is closed. So I'm going to pop up, misalign, pressure with my right inner thigh. I'm not looking at him, I'm looking at the ceiling. Look at what happens when I look at him. Your body naturally. So hips forward. If I need to, if his legs don't pop up, push hips forward. I know exactly where he is. And now, I'm using my head, he's blocking my hand. Go ahead, block that hand. Say hello to my little friend. All right, guys, on that note, we're going to sign off, unless we have any last-minute questions. It is a Sunday.
Let's see. How do you prevent, Peter Zawadzki on Facebook asks, how do you prevent a guy from turtling once you pass the guard? And what are your favorite attacks on the turtle position?
Him. I like him to turtle. I like people to turtle when I'm passing their guard. It's a lot easier to turtle somebody up because then I either take their back or I choke them with a guillotine. So I'm perfectly happy when he turtles up. So I'm very confident if they turtle that one of three things is going to happen, and this presumes if the guy's really, really good, I'll wind up back in his guard. But usually I have a good shot at a very strong submission, or at the very least put him back on his back, and I'm on top of cross side, which means that I've accomplished the guard pass that I set out to do. All right, guys. So, guys, thank you for tuning in. Stay well, take care of others, and we'll see you tomorrow for episode 17. For episode 17. See you tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time.